What's your favorite scary movie?
Do you ever fantasize about
damn enchiladas?
That's much too vulgar display of power, Karen.
Let me ask you one question. Are you having fun?
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Because I promise you, you and I are going to have some fun.
Oh, no.
It is time to keep your appointment with the Wicker Man.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Shut up, you bitch hog.
Game over.
Well, while you look for your notes, I'll introduce us to the lovely fine folks out there in the internet land. Welcome back to the Dreadcast, folks. My name is Tom. This is lovely Aidan.
Hello.
I'm going to preface this episode right now within, as he checks, he is recording. He is recording. I'm going to that helps, folks. If you want to, 99 episodes in, to this wonderful show, it still helps to just check that you're recording.
Never got this far.
I did mess up with the Frankenstein recording.
That's only one though. One out of 100.
One.
Well, 1 out of 99 is.
Well, we haven't made 100 yet. I'm going to preface this right now and say, yes, today's episode is The Blob from 1988. We will be getting into it very shortly, but we have some business to attend to first, more so for the video listeners, but you can listen to it as well, but it's probably better for the video listeners. If you want to skip ahead, I will put a timestamp right here to when the episode really starts and a little audio clip right here of when it starts. 27 minutes and 35 seconds. There you go, you heard that. And you can go right there to where the episode starts. So we have some business to attend to first.
Do we? Okay.
Well, as you can see, fine folks, it is the holiday season. Ho, ho, homer. I've put some shabby Christmas lights up in the background. And you have your...
The Christmas... The section of the Christmas tree there, yeah.
It's not colourful. Why is it not colourful?
Because I didn't decorate it.
Why do you hate Christmas?
I don't hate Christmas. I love Christmas. But there was an artistic vision, and Vic was very into sort of brown and brown. So there's lots
of grey and silver.
There's lots of, well, it's like one of those frosty trees, and then there's brown feathers and gonks and a squirrel. The one in the front room, we've got a little one in the other room, which is a little bit more riotous colour. We've got a hot dog on that one. There's a gold hot dog, which is my favourite Christmas. In fact, it's my Christmas ornament that I insisted that we have somewhere, but it wasn't allowed on the main tree because it doesn't fit the theme. The theme should always be that horrible, tacky, loud, in your face nonsense.
Something has thrown up over it.
Yeah. I agree.
I'm going to let you know now. I have this particular Christmas ornament arriving this week to make my tree better than anyone, including yours out there, folks. Just to let you know, this ornament will make your tree redundant, and you may as well get rid of it because once this gets put on,
oh yeah, okay. Okay, that is great.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell the people at home what that is?
Oh well, firstly I'll tell them it's 6 inches tall.
It is 6 inches.
It's rock hard, and it's 6
inches
centimeters
or
15 centimeters if tall, if you'd like. It's rock hard, it's colourful, and it's just going to be poking out of the tree.
That is.
What's it going to be, folks? It is.
That is 6 inches tall.
A tape measure for reference there, folks.
Tape measure for reference.
It's Homer. Homer basically when he was merging back into the bushes from harassing Flanders and the boys, and it's that ominous music.
Yeah, so it's Homer, but with like a kind of jaggedy cutout. Yeah. So the tree, the foliage from your tree sort of shows through. Yeah, that is excellent.
It's incredible.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's incredible.
In fact, I'm kind of tempted to see if I can get hold of one of those for a good friend of mine who's a very big Simpsons fan as well.
I've already got one. You don't need to get me another
Not
one.
well, yeah, no, not you.
If I just
Got
have
the
like
friends,
20
Tom.
of them, just on the tree. Just we get it now. It arrives between the 14th and 20th of December.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So that's the Christmas decorations part out of the way.
Was that the business that we had to attend?
No, the business is
Okay.
The business is something came in the post
Oh,
yesterday.
yes.
Fucking huge.
Oh, good.
There is two, right? Because I don't remember.
Yes,
ordering
there is two. I don't know why they sent it as two because it was ordered at the same time, but
So
there's two things.
Santa has arrived to both our houses.
No,
Oh no!
but we can go ahead. We can go ahead and
I thought it
this.
had. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay,
It's all right. It's
well,
okay.
well, yeah, that's fine. Then yours will be for the next episode.
It may be today. We'll see. I don't know, but
May turn up during the recording.
it could turn up during the recording. In which case, we'll have some excitement.
All right. Well, that's my bad. I thought we both had some gifts to unwrap.
It's all right. This is why you should discuss the business before just going ahead with it. But yeah, no, I want to see you open your presents. So come on.
Oh, awkward, folks. No wonder
Let's
he's
do it.
leaving. Oh God, sick of the production qualities. Right, first one. The fuck is that? It's shrink wrapped. Those socks.
There should be socks.
Look at the
I think it does say
shrink wrapping.
I think it does say socks on the packet.
And a gift from Aidan. Enjoy
They
your
should-
gift. Full name in me. With your full name there. Middle name as well. And anything else exciting? Oh, an invoice. That's exciting.
Oh, nice. There was a custom
Money
gift
in
note, but maybe it's in the other one. Because I did
We got
write
some.
something.
We got some cool socks. Movie men. They are shrink wrapped to hell. Oh, there's a rip.
There we go. I mean, you got to get socks at Christmas, right?
It's been a while.
Oh well, you know.
It's been a while since I've got that Lynx Africa multi-pack with some
That's
socks.
what's in the other packet.
Fantastic. There we
Read
got
what
some...
they say. Read what they say on them. Read what they
I'm
say.
getting to Mum, I'm getting to it. We got some lovely splatterific Halloween/horror socks.
Yeah.
I've got to read what it says on it. I'd rather be watching. Second sock. Horror movies. Very true. Because we do a horror
Because
movie
you do
podcast.
horror, yeah.
I'd rather be watching horror movies, folks.
Yeah.
Do you know what? The main thing, they feel good. They feel quality, actually. So
Good. I'm glad.
I will never knock socks as a present. As we just said, it's a joke, but you can't.
No, I don't.
So-
Certainly not at
I
my ripe old age. I'm desperate for some new socks.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, my friend. The irony is that people will only be able to read the message on the bottom when you probably are feet up watching horror movies.
Yes. Well, only horror movies.
Mm.
I'm going to try to open this beast now.
Yes.
Is it going to jump? Is it a Venus flytrap? Is it going to jump out at me?
It's not a Venus flytrap.
But what if it is, though?
I mean, well, Amazon have cocked up.
I just want to say, I did put thought into your present, okay?
Hang on a minute. What do you mean?
Let's say 80% of it, I put thought into it.
Are you trying to say that I haven't?
No, it's not about yours. I'm just stating mine.
Oh, okay.
What we got? Merry Christmas, mate, and thanks for the scares. Ooh. But not for making me watch the Outwaters. Yeah? Made me fucking watch Antrim.
Yeah, well, you can send
one
a custom message back to me.
Paper. We've got printer paper here.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's half a ream of printer paper.
All right. I'm opening.
I mean, I hope these are good.
By the way, folks,
if
if you
there's
ask...
if there's some really crap quality rubbish, this is not going to be good on film.
No, but I also want to state, if you are listening to this audio still, it's kind of your fault. You should have skipped forward. Unboxings never work on the audio form.
No,
All right. So we
not
got
unless
some
the
prints.
sound of sellotape ripping is your kink.
So we got some prints here. So What we got? Oh, the Crystal Lake Post.
There should be 4 or 5, I think.
Jason Voorhees dead? Ah, so this is after 4. Who is the man behind the mask? The summer of 1957, a young Jason Voorhees was believed to have drowned in a tragic accident at Camp Crystal Lake. His mother, Pamela Voorhees, who was a former cook at the camp, blamed the council's negligence for his death. Basically, this is summarising the beginning of the Friday
presented in a local newspaper style.
Oh, I love the best part right down here. Crazy Ralph, we got a quote. They're doomed, I tell you. Read our exclusive interview with tragic victim, Crazy Ralph. And how did Ralph die? Can we just...
he was garroted round a tree.
Bingo. A little arrow pointing to the weapon found at the lake. After... To be fair, would it be... I don't know if it'd be found at the lake. If this is... Because Tommy hacked him to death, so... How... We never know what happened at the end of that, to be fair, because he went straight to the orphanage in 5, didn't he? So...
Yeah.
The orphanage is crazy people. That's great. And I tell you what, the quality is fantastic of this. Really good quality paper. Oh, now we're talking. Get out of here, Jason. Jason who? Muerto. County news. Bizarre and brutal massacre. Now, how did they get that picture?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think way too hardly about things like that in real life. Yeah. How did they get that? Grave robbing, cannibalism, and murder by Toby Hooper. Oh, the director, the famous director, has done a bit of journalism. Oh, and we've got a astrology. Saturn in retrograde. With Saturn in retrograde, I don't know what that means. During Leo, life may have you feeling like a piece of meat hanging on a hook to rot. The condition of a retrogradation. Is contrary to the regular direction of actual movement in the zodiac and is, in that respect, evil. That's fantastic. Gasoline. Oh, we've got a little advert for the gas station.
The little ads are all linked
so cool.
to it as well. So there's a barbecue one and stuff, I think.
Slaughterhouse Meats. That's awesome. Yo, Haddonfield, or should I say not Haddonfield, Illinois, Haddonfield, California, with the palm trees. If you watch Halloween footage, you'll see palm trees in the background, and you'll also notice that school has mostly outdoor corridors, which is like LA school. The Haddonfield Herald, Halloween Night Massacre. I like how they've got again.
Yeah,
nice
really good.
Close up shot.
You don't see. That's what you don't see in that shot of Laurie talking to a friend and Michael just appearing behind the hedge. Oh, there's a photographer in the gutter, just like.
And there he is at the house.
Yeah.
The killer was spotted wearing a mask similar to this. Why is there blood on the newspaper as well?
Because it's authentic from the scene.
Scary. I'm so scared right now. That's awesome. How does that... So... 3 adults who were murdered. It's cheaper, this newspaper. And what's... Oh! How we're talking.
Is this the Evil Dead one? Yeah.
Elk Grove Gazette. Is Elk Grove is that a reference to anything in the film?
I'm assuming that's the area where they are, but I don't know. I can't specifically think we find that out at any point. But
cabin trip turns deadly. 4 college students and several others found murdered. More at 10. What really happened in the woods? Not so groovy anymore. Oh, and we got the Oldsmobile. Drive the best classic deal. Now's the time for a better used car. And the boomstick. $108. That's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
I think. I never bought it.
I mean, Shop Smart. Shop S Smart.
There we go.
Elk Grove is referenced in the series Ash vs. the Evil Dead. That's where it's a town located in central Michigan. And it's the setting for most of the series... second series, I think.
Hey, these are superb. These are really nice. there's something about they don't feel tacky. They're creative. I really like them. They're not tacky or they're great, and they're great quality.
Good.
I've never seen anything like this actually.
I happened across them, and the one that caught my eye was obviously for you was the Texas Chainsaw one. And I thought, oh yeah, the other ones are pretty cool. But if I'm getting one, I'll get him the TCM one.
That's beautiful.
And then I realised it was a full set. Was there a Nightmare on Elm Street one as well?
No, I think that's 4.
Is there only 4? Oh,
hang on. Jason. I think there is only 4.
Oh, that's a shame.
Oh no, sorry, it was flipped round. My bad.
Oh, there you go.
Never Sleep Again. Mysterious Dream Deaths. Sorry, he's damaged the.
It's
hard to read.
It's authentic from the scene again.
Adverts we got Craving Diner, Springwood's favorite pizza place, 50% off. It's not bad. Western Hills Psychiatric Hospital is looking for somewhat of a tiny segue from Nightmare on Elm Street to today's film, which we'll get to.
Is there now?
There is indeed. Very kind of minor, but we'll get to it. The Springwood Gazette, following a string of unexplained murderers. Yeah, blah 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 blah. I like. Do you know? It's an artist. It states it's an artist's impression. It's not an actual because that would be even more baffling. How the hell they got a picture in the dream world of him
with those dream cameras they have now.
But I like they've also got an old picture of Freddy / Robert England when he's younger. So no, they are superb. They are going up in the office.
Awesome.
I've needed something. I mean, there's a lot of games in here, and I wanted something horror related in here. There's a lot of the horror stuff's downstairs, but no, they are. Thank you very much.
You are welcome. You are very welcome.
And
yeah, I'm glad they were good. I'm glad they're good quality and stuff.
Can we just class that as that's a serious gift, and this is just a silly gag gift, right?
Yeah.
Good. That's what we're doing.
However you want.
Yeah. That's fine. That's definitely what we've both done.
Yeah, sure. Well, we'll find out.
We'll find out, won't we? Yeah, that's awesome. No, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome, dude. Merry Christmas.
I wasn't going to say Crimbo. We don't do that here. Merry Christmas to you. Well, if you haven't got a present to open until next episode, we can move on. I just want to... Did you ever see Godzilla -1?
Yes. It was good. Yeah.
Another one for the collection.
Ooh.
4K special box set.
Oh, that is
It
nice.
is beautiful. It is 4 discs.
Wow.
I'm not even sure what is on all of this. I mean, I assume the film is there.
I mean, hopefully the film.
I would
is
hope
at
the
least
film's
one of
there.
them. Yeah.
But man, these types of boxes, the book. Thankfully, no postcards because they're pointless. But yeah, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. If you've never seen Godzilla -1, I cannot recommend it more. And I know I'm biased coming from a big Godzilla fan, but as a film in general, it is incredible. So do yourself a favor, go watch Godzilla -1. It's on Netflix. Right. Anything from yourself?
No, absolutely nothing. Oh, there's somebody at the door.
Oh, no way!
There's somebody at the door.
Hang on, folks.
I mean, that couldn't have been timed better, could it really?
My God, I cannot believe that has happened. I mean, most people that do watch this might think that was a bit. But
that was absolutely not a bit. That was just the gods coming together, and
Aidan's present has just been delivered as I've just finished opening my. That is incredible. I am so excited. Now, when you open the box, can you just show me the packages that said presents are in?
Yeah, of course.
So, what are we doing today?
I mean, at some point we'll talk about the Blob, I guess. But you know,
what the fuck's the Blob?
presents first.
Presents.
Trying not to eviscerate myself.
Yeah, when I wrap a package, I wrap the hell out.
I mean, there's nothing.
I make sure it's.
Oh, you
wrapped
thought
up.
about the cat as well. Excellent. I love that.
Oh, does your cat like bubble wrap and like just plastic?
Yeah.
She can't stop licking it and just rolling around in it. She loves to lick plastic.
Okay, we have this one.
We've got a thick and thin one.
We've got that's a thick one, thin one.
Thin one first.
Thin one first. Yeah. In fact, he'll love the box.
So, package has arrived at Aidan's house. He is now unveiling gift number 1.
Ooh, wrapped as well.
Oh, I forgot I wrapped it as well. Wrapped it
very
in Christmas
nice.
wrapping paper. So, very exciting. He is.
No way.
Surprising look on his
No
face.
fucking way.
Oh my
mate.
god, it's shocking, surprised look on his face.
It's
the-
only a 4K version of my most favoritist of the movies ever.
And he's only gone and snuck the remake disc inside and resealed it.
Have you really?
No, that'd be amazing. I would. Oh, that'd be amazing.
Because you are not getting episode 100 if you have done that.
No.
Oh, mate, that is amazing. Thank you so much. Brilliant. I might have to watch it. I might have to watch that today.
I had a feeling you might do the same sort of thing I do with like my favorite film and favorite horror film. Try and collect this every alternative version you can of it. The VHS, maybe a laser disc here and there. Or...
I've got a bunch of different versions of it. Yeah, and I'm still I was waiting to take the, to pull the trigger on the 4K version. I keep the woman and R in and not go around to it. But oh mate, that's amazing. Thank you.
More than welcome.
Excellent.
But there's one more present.
There is one more present. I'm guessing this one is wrapped as well. Some lovely festive Robin wrapping paper. This is.
So can you unwrap it via the camera, please? Yes, thank you.
I can.
I want the folks at home to, if they're still here, I want them to enjoy this. I would like them to enjoy what's occurring on screen.
What it's. Right. I can only see that.
What?
And I think I know what this is.
What's
It is a red letter E on a 15 certificate movie VHS copy of the greatest, the slasher elite, Valentine.
Yes, Valentine on VHS.
Wicker Man what?
Chuck that away.
don't need that anymore. Yes. Amazing.
How has this bit stemmed from a mediocre 2000 slasher that we reviewed about? Oh, it was this year. Was it this year or last year?
I think it would have been this year, won't it? In fact.
And yeah, we have the Valentine shirt there on display.
Just happened to have on hand.
And you also
I wore it this week.
Also you have
I have the soundtrack.
He does have the soundtrack
somewhere. I do have the soundtrack as well.
We are gonna, even though you're moving on, over the years we are gonna complete the merchandise collection of Valentine.
I mean, we do have Denise Richards in bikini on the back of it, so
yeah,
that's quite good.
I want to say that tape arrived broken, and I fixed it.
You fixed it. You are indeed genius. I was just checking that it had been rewound as well. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, talking about old media.
Yeah.
I bought a cassette player. I bought a Walkman last night off eBay.
Oh, awesome!
This was. I mean, I can't even say that it was like a drunk eBay purchase because it absolutely wasn't. But I was scrolling TikTok, and a video came up of somebody with the the BBC audio play version of Lord of the Rings in a box set.
Okay.
cassette box set, and it was like really, really nice. And there's a map in there, and the box is beautiful. And I was like, oh, that looks quite good. And somebody had said, and I think the tagline or the caption is the word. The caption was like, oh, the best 15 quid I ever spent. I was like, oh, for 15 quid. Anyway, managed to, well, it's being bid on, but it ends tomorrow, and I'm getting it for 8 quid currently.
That's a steal.
This cassette set, and it's like, oh, it'd be a shame not to like play it. So I managed to find my Walkman, or the same tape cassette Walkman I had as a kid, for sale as well. So I've got that to go with it. And then there's quite a lot of like dungeon synth stuff that I've been listening to just recently that all comes out on cassette these days. And like cassettes are kind of making a bit, in the same way vinyl has had a resurgence, cassettes have as well.
Oh no, you're right, because I recently got the new Linkin Park album. Huge Linkin Park fan. Fantastic album, and they released it on vinyl and they released it on cassette. So I got the cassette of it as well. I'm gonna sound old. Kids these days don't know the satisfaction of simple things of pressing a button. Touchscreen is nothing compared to clicks.
Yeah, clicking.
Button. That is satisfaction right there.
So yeah, I've got a cassette Walkman on the way.
Mate, is it Sony?
No, it's an Alba one.
Oh,
like I say, it's really basic, but it's the same. But I was like, I could, because you can buy like new versions. Like people are still making them, and a lot of them have a function to sort of record cassettes to digital format. But it functions as a player as well. And I was like, oh, they're only like 20 quid. Like, not too bad. And I thought, well, if I can just get a really cheap one, I will.
Yeah, as long as it does the job. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I found, I found the exact one that I had as a kid. I mean, not a teenager. It was probably before I was a teenager. So I was like, well, I'll have that definitely. So yeah, looking forward to that.
That's tasty. Very nice.
Amazing.
Very nice. Well, I think we both did very well then.
I think we both, Santa has done us proud.
Yeah. Yep. Well, again, Merry Christmas to everyone, even though it's not the last episode till Christmas, but still. This was your third pick of your retirement tour. If you will.
Yes.
And I am so happy you picked this film because I love The Blob.
Well, yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons, because I was really sort of struggling for another one. I've got to admit, there's a few that I was umming and ahhing about, and you've mentioned this quite a lot.
And you've never seen it?
And I've never seen it. I've seen the original years and years ago, but I barely remember that, to be honest.
Very heavy talking. It's a very heavy scripted film.
Yeah. And yeah, say you'd mentioned this a few times, and while I was looking for it to watch, I came across so many people saying like how massively underrated it was. So I was like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. I've never seen it. I know you're a fan, so yeah, it seemed like a good choice, good pick.
Did you think?
Right off the bat, yeah, I thought it was great. It was really good,
brilliant. It's so fun.
Really enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean, we'll get into the thick of it, but yeah, the practical effects are great. It's got that sort of cheesy 80s tone to it. Several twists. It keeps you on your toes. Yeah,
keeps refreshing, and everyone is disposable in this film.
Oh, absolutely.
Everyone is disposable.
That was a rather I would say that was a shock and refreshing as well. There aren't a lot of films that like dare to do that.
Nope. And
yeah, you're right. Nobody is safe, and it's much the better film for it. I had a whale of a time watching it. I really enjoyed it.
I'm really glad. And there is I was nearly tempted to buy the 4K for this specifically because I've wanted it for a long time, but at the same time, I kind of need money to live. So there's that as well. But hey ho, we're We won't go into that, but the collector's edition 4K is 30 quid. It's quite a lot. But I'd still I cannot recommend this film more to a lot of people. And I think this film, I don't know if underrated's the word, but I feel like it slips under the radar of just great, enjoyable, fun horrors. From the 80s, the peak era of horror, the 80s. This slips under everyone's radar, I think, because of maybe slashers that were the more popular style at the time.
Yeah, and it's a remake of an old. I mean, when was the original? Like the 50s.
Steve McQueen playing a teenager.
Yeah. So yeah, it probably does. 1958, the original. Yeah.
30 years later,
it does slip under the radar. I think it's one. I hate the phrase, but it's one of them. If you know, you know. Like if people have seen it, people that have seen it seem to hold it in quite high regard and rate it. But it doesn't crop up that. I don't feel it crops up that often when people are discussing.
No, it doesn't.
80s horror movies.
It falls into the same sort of category as this is how you do a remake. This is why you do a remake.
Mm-hmm.
You don't remake a good film. You remake a bad, lesser heard of, maybe needs touching up here and there film. Similar to this falls in the category of The Fly or The Thing. The Fly, The Thing, The Blob. Those three always fall in the same sort of category to me as that's why you do a remake. I mean, granted, The Thing is not necessarily a remake, but you know what I mean. It kind of technicality. Technicality. Yeah, the Blob is fantastic, and I don't know what it is, and I've been racking my brain for the last week or so to try and think where, but I remember as a kid, early teen, seeing the Blob be referenced maybe in like old cartoons maybe we grew up with, where that was used as like the scary film on a TV at one point in the cartoon. I can't think what cartoon thing of it. Oh my god, the Blob's on. Or...
There's a movie. There's definitely a movie where it has a driving scene and the Blob is what they're watching on the drive-in.
That rings a bell as well.
And I can't think what it is. I'm just having a look on IMDb. There is somebody's made a list of 1988 movies, of which obviously The Blob is one. And 1988 was a banging year for movies.
Really? What do we get?
Willow, Heathers, They Live, Child's Play, Rain Man. I mean, if we're just talking specifically horror, Halloween 4.
Hey, I love Halloween 4. I'm down
Killer
for that.
Clowns from Outer Space.
Mm-hmm.
The Great Outdoors, which isn't a horror film, but I love that movie. Dan Aykroyd and John Candy.
Yes, I do. I'm aware of that, yeah.
Night of the Demons, Friday the 13th.
Night of the Demons.
New Blood, Critters 2, Pumpkinhead, Return of the Living Dead 2.
Hold up. Friday the 13th. Which one would that have been?
It's New Blood, which is
5.
Maniac Cop, Fright Night Part 2, Poltergeist 3. I mean, there's some not so good ones, but
that's not so good.
But there's a lot of I'd say iconic movies came out in that year. It seems, or at least entries in iconic movies.
Apologies, correction. New Blood is Part 7 with the girl with telekinesis powers.
Yes.
What's Part 5? I swear that's
Part 5.
What?
So Part 6 is Jason Lives.
Oh, New Beginning.
Yeah, that sounds right.
New Beginning, yeah, so that's where I got confused. New Blood, New Beginning, yeah, Part 5, New Beginning. Yeah, that's a good year. That's a good year.
I believe Die Hard was also 88, wasn't it? The original.
I thought that was 90. Let's have a look. God, I'll be watching that soon. Yeah, 88, you're right.
Yeah, which isn't on this list for some reason. But, yeah, not a bad year for movies.
Good year. The aspect with this film, which I feel maybe does fall into the category of underrated, is the cast of this film.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe not so much at the time, but nowadays, when you look at the cast, there are so many people where you could be, I know them, I know her, I know him, I know that. Oh, he's in it, she's in it.
Yeah.
Oh, Shawnee Smith from Saw fame.
Uh-huh.
Kevin Dillon, Jack Nance from Eraserhead and Twin Peaks. He's only in it for about 10 minutes as the Doctor at the beginning. Because it's Frank Darabont as well, who wrote it with Chuck Russell, the director, who we'll get onto in a minute. Frank Darabont, writer of Green Mile, director of Green Mile, Shawshank, and The Mist. He wrote The Mist.
Yep.
He wrote or directed The Mist. So he has his sort of favourites, and one of the guys, Paul McCrane. No, not Paul McCrane. Bill. Oh God, I'm messing it up. What was his name? He's in The Walking Dead, and he's also in The Mist. And he's the guy that runs into the store, basically shouting, "There's something in the mist." He's the sheriff in this one, and I am.
Oh, not the deputy.
Jeffrey DeMunn. Yeah, he's a sheriff. Sheriff Herb Geller. No, the deputy is the guy
Paul
from
McCrane.
Guy from RoboCop, yeah. Again, another guy. Mm-hmm. Bill Moseley has a part in this.
Bill Moseley has a part in this. Yeah, I did notice that.
There's a lot of names or faces I think can really pick out. It's a hell of a cast. Yes, what I was going to mention earlier about the little reference between Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah,
is Chuck Russell, who wrote this with Frank Darabont, also directed it, and he directed Nightmare on Elm Street 3. My favorite one. But his filmography is pretty wild. Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Blob, The Mask, Eraser.
The Scorpion King.
Yeah, I was kind of just going to end it there, really, because it kind of tails off a bit. Bless This Child, Scorpion King, an episode of Fringe. But that first run in the 90s, 80s and 90s, that's some big hitters, I'd say.
I love the Mask movie.
The Mask is amazing.
It was great.
Jim Carrey had... there aren't many actors that have had that good of a year that Jim Carrey had in 94. Dumb and Dumber, The Mask, and Ace Ventura.
Mm.
In 1 year. That's incredible. But anyway, digressing. Yeah, Chuck Russell... hell of a, what were we looking at? 10, near enough 9 to 10 years of some banging films, including this one, The Blob. So yeah, it's got a lot going for it, including the opening, the setup right at the beginning, where we're panning through this derelict town. There's no one around. It kind of reminded me a bit of the town in Children of the Corn when they arrive at Children of the Corn.
Yeah.
There's nothing around. You know, leaves blowing and papers blowing around. Little cat walks around. And then the camera eventually pans to a graveyard and then pans across to a football field, American football field, where all the town are having a great time and all the town is there. It's a little local town. Everyone's there. So it's kind of, I guess, does it maybe subvert your expectations a little bit? It's just... Yeah,
I think so. That's probably what it is, isn't it? I mean...
Even if it's for the first 2 minutes of the film, it's kind of like, oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, it's not a ghost town or whatever. Everyone's just there. Everyone is there.
I mean, that's the sort of thing about this. It is that's very small town. Everybody knows everybody, like quite literally.
A local town for local people.
It very much is. But I mean, just how many instances of like the characters just know each other. Like the sheriff picks up Flag and knows that, just sees him loitering and has that little interaction where he's like, you're 18 next year. That means real prison for you, you bad kid.
Yeah. Flag, the bad boy played by Kevin Dillon, he just wants to get his bike over that bridge. He's gonna do it one day. Which is one of the setups and payoffs, which this film is filled
full of. Yeah, there's a lot of that, very much.
But you're right with like how everyone is quite close and knows everyone because
Meg's dad being the drugstore clerk.
Ripped. Ripped.
Yeah.
But the thing you were saying about the sheriff and Flag, it's a quite cliche because they have a little interaction where he's sort of leaning on the Flag's bad man with his leather jacket's leaning on the wall. He's just lit up a cigarette and then the sheriff pulls up and he may as well say, "I'm on to you. Don't do anything bad. You can't stop me, copper." It's very cliche.
It is very cliche. I love that his leather jacket is paired with just like a white dress shirt
underneath. Very, very. I want to say like sort of Tudor-esque. It's quite puffy.
Yeah, big collars and stuff. But yeah, you know, motorcycle, cigarette, leather jacket. He's the tough guy.
Hey, he doesn't play. Doesn't play by anybody's rules, not even his own.
He'd absolutely be friends with Judd Nelson in Breakfast Club.
Yeah, he would. But yeah, mentioning this film, it's written fantastically with, like we said, the amount of setups and payoffs of this film. It's kind of satisfying in a way, the payoffs in a way.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, two kids that are trying to sneak out to watch Garden Tool Massacre.
Garden Tool Massacre, yeah.
Your basic slice and dice.
It's your basic slice. I love that line. It's your basic slice and dice.
Oh yeah,
of course.
I
wish we'd have known that earlier.
Slice and Dice Elite.
I wish we'd have known that line for previous reviews. It's your basic slice and dice.
We've got a few Slice and Dices coming up this month on the show. But one of the kids, his jacket gets stuck. And that comes back later on to very much haunt him and his demise. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the set-offs. Did you catch many?
I mean, there's flag jumping the bridge or attempting to jump the bridge.
Yeah.
You know, he manages to do it just you know, in the nick of time when he really needs to later in the movie.
Yeah.
I did make notes on a few others, but I probably can't find them just offhand.
Well, we got the snow machine.
Oh yeah.
So the town. So
I was really confused about the snow machine on a truck with a snowplow attached. I couldn't work that out.
The town in question it kind of hinges on tourism.
Yeah.
So that's why they have the snow machine to help if they have a light snowfall.
Yeah.
Because I think they have a ski resort.
Fran, the waitress lady, she says something like, "Oh, ski season's about to start," or something. Yeah. So
the snow machine is in like a mechanic's warehouse where Flag, I believe, works, and that obviously it's highlighted, but it comes back to the big payoff right at the end of the film, which helps somewhat dispose of the blob, somewhat.
Yeah,
kind of. But the story itself is, I mean, it's really straightforward. It is super straightforward.
It is straightforward, but it's there's a few twists there that keep it engaging, I think.
Oh yeah, if you didn't have that specific twist that changed it from it's just this alien from outer space, I think it would get a bit dull.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, the original is just alien from outer space, right? As far as I can remember.
I believe so. You're not going to quote me on that one.
No. But as far as I'm aware, I think that's what it is. Whereas in this, we have a big reveal that it's a government weapon, basically.
Bioweapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've shot some bacteria into space and it's mutated and evolved and come back, and they're hoping to basically use it as a bioweapon against the Ruskies. I think the Russians are specifically mentioned because
of course it's always the Russians.
It was the 80s, wasn't it? So
it's always the Russians. Wolverines. But it somehow is now what's the word? Where something has become conscious. It's
sentient.
Sentient, yes, it's kind of become sentient, its own life form. Doesn't seem to have a goal, it just seems to attack. It's constantly on the attack mode.
Consume and grow big.
But we don't even know, it's just it's like a muscle mass in a way, the way it looks. It's a bit translucent, but it's not slimy, it's gooey.
It's a blob, Tom.
It's a blob. I was trying not to say blob.
I mean, it's in the title.
Because if it was in the dictionary, you wouldn't try to look for the definition of the blob and it goes a blob.
Well, the thing, there is, I know what you're driving at, because there is a little bit more to it. In the original, it is just some slime, isn't it? That
jam.
Rolls over people. In this, it's, a lot more active. It climbs up walls and sort
There's
of drops onto people.
tentacles.
It's got tentacles. The tentacles feature quite a lot actually. It uses
They do.
the tentacles as a main attack throughout the movie. It's kind of got a mouth like when it first appears and it latches onto the old homeless guy.
Yeah.
It almost is like it has a mouth and it attaches to him. So it's very it's better and feels like more of a threat, I'd say, than the spilled tub of raspberry jam from the original. That I always kind of wondered, like, is it that bad, really? I mean, it's some jelly that moves at a glacial pace, whereas this one does feel like it is definitely more of a threat because it's
way more threatening.
It's sneaky. Yeah. It's in the pipes. It ambushes people. It does a lot to actually sort of, hunt and trap its victims.
Well, if we get into the kills in a bit, because there's quite a few specific kills in this film.
Mm-hmm.
When we get into the kills in a minute, one of the kills is Paul, who we think is going to be fine throughout the film. No, he's the main.
He's set up as the main character.
20 minutes, he's gone. But the way, like you said, it's sneaky. Said character is on a phone in a doctor's office, and behind him, the door just slowly swings open, and there's the Blob sneakily coming behind him, which is actually a green screen, that scene.
Yeah,
that's miniature. Yeah, with Paul in a green screen. But yeah, it's way threatening. It has no identifying shape, and the one thing that I found this was very similar to was the Thing. We don't know we don't see what the Thing itself is
actually
ever,
looks like.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we don't see what this is. It is what it is. It's a blob. it's a piece of mass.
You don't ever really see it in its entirety.
It has no specific form. And that to me is way more creative. Now I love the Predator and I love Alien. But it's way more creative than if you typed in Alien in Google, you would get skinny grey man, big head, big black eyes.
Yeah.
You're Alien, your UFOs and aliens. It's so much more creative just having this thing that is near enough impossible to describe other than saying it looks like a blob, it looks like a mess. Because it makes it more threatening because you don't know what its characteristics are.
No.
You have no idea. A Predator, you can look at it and go, it's pretty beefy. It's pretty tough. He looks like he could be up for a fight. Alien looks more like obviously a predator. Not in the sense of a predator. It looks like an animalistic predator that will hunt, will kill, will latch on. There's no reasoning with it. This Thing, you're not going to reason with this thing. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Avoid it at all costs.
And yeah, like you say, you don't at first glance you don't know what it's capable of. You don't know. I mean, you won't necessarily look at it and go, it has tentacles that are going to whip out. It can climb up stuff. It can squeeze through gaps of basically any size. It's
somewhat has melting acidic properties.
Definitely has some sort of acidic capabilities. Grows at a rapid rate depending on, like, I'm guessing depending on how much it feeds, but it's not. Yeah.
Does it feed or does it just kill? Like, we don't.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if you want to get into the biology of it, I assume that it melts mass down and that mass becomes part of its own structure.
Well, I'm not a scientist, but I'd play one on TV.
I'm no scientician.
Let's just ask this scientician. The Simpsons gag for you there. I mean, I've never thought about this right until this moment, but is there a figure of the Blob you could buy? And what would it look like?
I don't know, but we'll find out.
Okay, don't type in, or do type in the Blob figure. That's not what I expected.
The Blob. I mean, there is the Blob. Oh, we're getting a lot of. There's an X-Man.
I didn't know. It looks like Chris Farley.
Character called the Blob. It does look a little bit like Chris Farley. Yeah,
it really looks like Chris Farley. But I don't think you could do a Blob figure because who signs off on that? and goes, that's maybe we need a bit more. Oh, hang on.
There is.
Is there?
There is a Steve McQueen era Blob action figure.
Get away.
It's not. It's probably not quite what you're expecting.
Get away.
But an interesting way to do it. Let me.
Very excited. This is my Christmas present next year, folks. I'm looking forward to this. He's already ordering it. It's in the basket. Oh, wow.
So we have a figure of, I don't know if it's meant to be a particular character, but we have a figure of
that's
a man
amazing.
with the blob jelly sort of engulfing his head and his hand, and there's like a spare little bit that you get.
That is so cool.
So that's a novel way of creating one, I guess.
I think the other way you could do it, because I think that the movie theater scene is probably one of the most famous parts of the film. Is you could sell it as maybe a mini diorama, and then a blob coming out as. Oh no, it doesn't come out the screen. It comes out the projector room, or it goes up on the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
So you can maybe sell it as a diorama, but yeah, I think it would be hard. But that's a great idea with the.
I mean, the other
melting
sort
face.
of way to do it would just be like a tub of slime, like.
Sell it as a bit of slime. Yeah.
Like the stuff that used to come with Ghostbusters toys back in the day.
Yes. Yeah. I remember that. One downside I have to the blob itself is its introduction, as it comes from the sky in its little meteor, which is no bigger than a meter to maybe 2 meter round ball size.
I thought you were going to say Chihuahua's head.
Oh, when it comes out, it's about Chihuahua's head.
The Simpsons reference to the meteor.
Bart's comet. Well done.
Bart's
well
comet.
done. Sneak them in every now and then. That will happen.
Yeah, when it comes out of its little pod.
But it's the impact of the meteor. It's a fart. It's a fart of sparklers that just pop out. There's not much of an impact when this meteor has roared from the atmosphere down into the earth. I expected just a little bit more.
Yeah,
I know the rock is tiny, but still, it was pretty underwhelming. But hey ho, that is what it is compared to the rest of the film. It's a very minor thing. And that is our introduction of the blob, which then leeches out, jumps on said homeless man, who then gets taken to the hospital by a few of our main characters. Was it Flag,
and Meg and Paul.
Yeah.
So Paul and Meg are out on a date, and as they're driving to wherever they're going to spend their time, Flag and the old man run out. Well, does he hit him with the car? I think he does hit him with the car.
I think so.
He?
Yeah,
Slightly, but he sort of the old man runs out into the road, and Paul sort of slightly bonks him with the car, and then a little bit of a discussion ensues, and they take him off to the hospital.
Yeah, which again is we get the blob grows very quickly in the hospital itself. Like it starts off on the homeless guy's arm as a football size, and then will grow to I don't know how we need scales.
I mean, we don't. I guess because Paul's the next victim. I mean, just before that, we discovered that the real horror is the American healthcare system.
Oh my word!
Once again, as you know, old man is with the hospital with one doctor, who's busy. And obviously the first question that the nurse asks is, well, does he have any sort of health insurance? Never mind that's his hand's melting off and he's been
that's
hit by
the
a car.
first question to ask. Yeah.
And they sort of take him off, and he's led on a gurney, and unbeknownst to people under his blanket, the blob is just digesting him. And then it's the next victim is Paul, and it's big enough to cover his entire body.
Yeah, it's maybe not necessarily grown or stretched. Who knows?
Possibly stretched.
Who knows?
Well, no, I think it definitely looks larger as we see it crawling up the wall behind him. It's not the same because it's maybe like football size when it's or American football size when it's on the old guy's hand, and then when it's crawling up the wall behind him, it's like, I mean, not quite as big as a bed sheet, but sort of like a good sized rug.
Exactly.
I'm struggling with things to compare it. Yeah, it's bigger than a big dog. Smaller than a.
I might have to draw up a scale chart of comparisons of the size of the blob. I feel like that scene though of Paul dying because he's screaming, and that's where Meg, Shawnee Smith, runs in to find him just melting like the guy at the end of the suckling.
Yeah, he's blanketed and it's all like his face is all stretched out and there's a hand outstretched and
trying to pull his arms. That's quite an iconic shot, which I think you'll see a lot if you maybe try to Google the film and
got it right up in front of me.
Yeah, but it's gruesome, and a lot of the kills or attacks, should we say, that the blob commits in this film are really horrifying.
Oh yeah, I think the practical effects are great. I really like the effects they've got. But I mean, just to go back to Paul's death for a second. It's a massive shocker because
it is. You don't expect it.
This kid has been with us from almost the first scene. He's definitely up until this point pegged as the main character. It's going to be him and Meg that maybe make it to the end.
Maybe kill off Dylan. Maybe kill off Flag.
Yeah, he's going to be the Steve McQueen of the movie. He's going to be the main character, and all of a sudden, nope, gone, dead,
very much dead.
Yeah,
very much dead.
And we have that, and there are some great kills in this, but we also get throughout the film fairly major characters just killed off screen, and we find out that we find out that they're dead by. I mean, basically, people seeing them in the blob. Just
are we talking about Sheriff and
you're talking
about Sheriff? That scene alone, which we'll come back to that scene. Just before this, about people being killed off early, Paul and his rapey friend. What's his name? Should have had this up.
Is it Scott?
I think it's you could be right.
When because we have the shortly after this we have the making out. He's making out with his best girl,
Scott.
Or is that somebody else?
No, you're right. It's Scott. It's Paul and Scott. So they're there are high school jocks, and we get the scene in, like you mentioned earlier, in the pharmacy.
Yeah, where
Scott is so cocky. He wants a pack of Trojans and some Banaka, which is. It's a very American thing, right, Banaka? The minty mouth spray. We don't really.
Oh, is
get
that
it
what
here.
it is?
Yeah, Banaka. It's like
like a breath spray. Fresh.
Because he's got his hot date tonight.
Yeah.
But he's so cocky and confident about it, and that is a great payoff. Not 5 minutes later, maybe, where Paul goes to pick up Meg.
Yeah.
And we discover Meg. Oh, I want you to meet my dad. Newspaper were down, and it's the same pharmacist.
Yeah.
Ripped.
Yeah, because basically Scott goes to buy condoms, and the Reverend is in there as well, sort of like the embarrassment of buying the Johnny in front of the priest. He sort of passes it off on Paul. He's like, "Oh no, it's my friend. I had to drag him down here. He wasn't going to be responsible, etc., etc." So there's a lot of like disapproving, grumbling, and that kid's an animal. And then the payoff is that it's the pharmacist is the father of Meg, who Paul then comes to pick up after hearing, and he shouts across the room at one point, doesn't he? Like, "Come on, I can't keep this girl waiting." After they all think that he's some sort of sex crazy maniac.
That's kind of the end. Like, that is the payoff to that little just moment.
Yeah.
Nothing really, because obviously Paul gets eviscerated. Nothing really comes any more of that with the dad.
No, we get that's the dialogue they have in the car as they're driving off on their date, and it's like, where they have this. I mean,
it's a bit of fun.
It's a bit of fun. We don't need to see it, but obviously there was a moment where they had the conversation going, "Oh no, that Scott was making all that up. That wasn't me." And because he says to Meg, doesn't he, there was a misunderstanding. And but yeah, it's kind of awkward going out on the first date with somebody.
In it,
you go to pick her up, and your dad thinks that
he's packing Trojans ribbed for her pleasure. So yeah, that was our establishment of Paul and Scott. And Paul gets offed in the hospital. Scott, we see, gets offed in the car with his date.
Yeah.
But I also love that we see his boot.
His little setup for
his trunk of the car.
His little sexual assault
amazing
kit with it.
Amazing.
Several rings that he's obviously using. I'll give you my ring, and he's got like several copies of it. And I mean, as we've already established, this is a town where there's only about 200 people, and everybody knows each other. Like, surely everybody knows what's about Scott's tricks. Like,
oh, Scott!
Put Scott and his sexual assault cocktail maker in the back, and
is it implied? Is it implied? Because I don't think it's shown that he has laced her drink with something.
I don't think it's. I don't think that's what's in the implication. I think the implication is he's just making strong booze. I think it's just because she says, "Oh, I think I've had enough," and he's basically like, "No, you haven't. I'll tell you when you've had enough. Let me go and make his patented cherry cooler or whatever," which is basically just all booze with a bit of cherry flavour to take the edge off.
I want us to talk about shot for shot because we'll be here forever. But specific ones like this need to be discussed. Like when he gets back into the car and she's asleep, and he's like, "Oh, you must be so warm.
Yeah,
let me just help you take the button. There we go. You must be. Oh, maybe just one more unbutton. And yeah, that's better. I can slip my hand. It's so horrible.
It's full on assault. It's awful, but in that best way, we get his comeuppance because of it.
Well, her face caves in because she's got the blob in, like,
just
somewhat inside.
Yeah,
inside
it's melted its way in, and he puts his hand into her shirt and gets grabbed, and then there's the reveal. The
main point of us just talking about these two characters is the fact is they are off. We are, like you said, we are led to believe, as we would probably realise now from an 80s horror film. All right, these are our guys. These are our Scooby Gang that we're following throughout the film in a way.
Yeah,
that will get picked off one by one.
I think I was less surprised at Scott, to be honest.
No, he could have been the first. If Paul survived, he could have been the first.
I could have felt like, I don't know. I felt like he was possibly set up as enough of a nozzle that he was going to get done in at some point.
But they're gone. They're gone, and we move on. We don't linger on it.
No. Well, nobody finds out about it either.
It's true.
Yeah, they're done, and that's it.
Yeah. Again, the film resets and keeps it fresh, keeps you engaged. Not enough horror films do that.
No.
And quickly on that horror film, it's not a scary film. It's not. It's not scary. It's fun.
Oh. Yeah.
It's fun and intriguing, and there's not really a dull moment in the film. I don't believe, in my opinion.
Really.
So, is it at this point, after the hospital, after we're moving on, we've reset the film again. Meg ends up with, or is this where the government show up? I forget what happened straight. So it's such a pivotal point in the film.
Yeah, so we have that. Flag gets brought in. Because he's the local resident bad kid.
That's it. They think he killed Paul.
And it's like, oh well, he must have done it. And then it kind of goes nowhere really, because it's the sheriff is like, well, there's no way that he did it. Let him go. There's just the funny moment. I don't know what the deputy's name is, but it's the henchman that melts in the toxic waste from RoboCop.
Yeah, it is.
He's like slagging off his family to Flag. He's like, "Oh, you're a bad kid from like a line of, you mums are drunk and you do's your dad, and he makes some flippant comment, and then he turns around to me and goes, "What? You think this is a joke?" And it's like, well, yeah, like you're allowed to make jokes. Why aren't I? And he goes off and he goes to the diner to get a sandwich, and Meg follows him, and they have a bit of because he doesn't. Nobody else believes her at what's happened, and she sort of says, "Well, you've got to help me convince people." And then we have the cook in the diner gets killed. Then we find out the sheriff is dead, and it's like, yeah, the blob is like full on.
That's it. We start to move on and on and on. So at the diner, then, we get the little, and again we get another little setup of sheriff asking her out on a date. Again, why do I not have the character page up?
The waitress was called Fran.
Fran, of course, she's called Fran. Dear Fran. Lovely little scene between them. You feel like a little bond being built between them. He asks her out on a date, but you're still not really aware at the point where everyone's disposable. At this point, you're not really clued in. Going, okay, well, they could die. You might think, oh, they might just make it.
Yeah.
So her, what do you call it? Would you call her a sous chef or dishwasher? The guy who works in the kitchen of the.
He's the kitchen guy in the diner.
Yeah, he gets
the cook.
He gets.
Seem to be anybody else.
No, I think it's just the two of them. But he gets literally pulled through the drain, the sink drain.
Yeah.
She sees this, escapes while Flag and Meg hide in the freezer, I believe. This is the point in the freezer where we start to learn, doesn't like cold.
Yeah.
It doesn't like cold temperatures. That hurts it. Keep that in mind for later. Oh, wait, didn't we see a snow machine earlier? I don't think the idea of clocking that snow machine earlier would stick in people's mind. It never did when I first watched it. No.
Didn't with me.
When you come back to it later, it's that satisfaction of the payoff going, they've got a snow machine. That might do it.
Although, do snow machines make cold snow? I always thought it was just like a...
No, I don't. Not as cold as snow is.
Yeah.
Because, I watched Hot Frosty last week.
Of course it is, yeah.
And that movie's wild. You should.
A lot of people are rating it, I must admit. A lot of people...
it's not good. It's not
No.
good. It is wild, but the snow in that, if I've seen polystyrene made into snow, I've seen it better than this. And they have snow machines that you could... Do you remember in Christmas... Might as well have been called Christmas fucking Christmas. Christmas bloody Christmas. And we were like, look at the snow machines just pumping out snow.
Yeah.
Like it's coming from the side. That's what it was like in Hot Frosty. And that's what I imagine a snow machine like this would do. But this one is so much more industrial that if it's going to help their ski tourism, I imagine it's got to have some sort of technology to keep it at a low temperature. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there are different things. There's, and I guess the movies use different things to be snow, and I suppose I don't know. It's not like it's me. I never considered that it'd actually be a real thing that makes frozen water. It makes snow in that way. I assumed it'd just be some sort of like spray snow,
If you know how a snow machine works, leave it in the comments or send it on into the Dreadcastpodcast at gmail.com.
If you have your own snow machine.
Yeah, if you have an opinion on snow machines, we'll get back to it. So that's when we learn that cold affects it. But we also, we get the horrifying death of Fran. It's horrifying. So she runs to the phone box. Remember those kids? You know what a phone box is?
Yeah. They usually have a defibrillator in them these days.
What, they still exist, the phone box? That's
if they do still exist, then they usually house like a defib machine.
Down here in London, they just house cards of working women.
I I mean, in nicer places, you might get them
Yes.
turned into a little public library. I've seen.
Oh yeah, they exist. Yeah, but this one,
Still
not
has a
so
phone in it
much.
because it's the 80s.
Still has a phone. She tries to call the sheriff. The blob arrives on top, seeps down the side, and we see a lovely prosthetic with, I think his eye is like bulging out, but it's moving.
Yeah.
So it's already consumed the sheriff somehow. I don't know where he was. But
No, that's it. That's the reveal that we get.
He's there. Sheriff has died off screen. And it just encases the phone box and crushes the phone box with her inside, and we get a quick cut from live actor to prosthetic mannequin just imploded. I don't know, like crushed
I
just
think that's
horrible, absolutely horrible.
I mean,
way
the sheriff must have been on his way to see Fran because that
or nearby.
was,
Yeah.
The last time we saw him, he was basically sort of lamenting the fact that this, what he assumes is a murder at the time, is getting in the way of his date. He was going to pick her up, so he must have decided. And he said, I think he says something about, "I'm worried for somebody."
Yeah,
and then he goes, "Oh well, I guess I'm worried for everybody." But yeah, he must have been like on his way to go and get her, and the blob got him. Otherwise, because the blob hasn't like zipped off over to get the sheriff and then come back to the diner, has it?
We don't know.
Well,
we don't know. He
I'd assume not, but you're right.
Blob could have killed him and taken the car and driven back to. Yeah, that death. Maybe no. I think the projectionist, is that a word? The projector. Yeah.
Projectionist.
His death again we don't see, but it's pretty gruesome.
Mm-hmm.
Get to the cinema scene, but it's the fact we see this death. It's really horrible because you got that feeling of claustrophobia. Mm-hmm. She's encased, she's nowhere to go, and then suddenly it's, in theory, every single wall around her has just compressed on her at once.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's the crushed death, and then she's probably drowning and suffocating, and then burning with the acid, and not a nice way to go.
Yeah, it's vile. This point, though, we get, once it's done, the blob starts to seep down to the drain, and the vicar spots this. He sees this.
Mm-hmm.
And he becomes intrigued.
Yeah.
He becomes curious. And I think, I don't know if it's at this part, he picks up a sample. Maybe it's a little bit later.
I think it is at this point, but isn't it frozen?
Yeah, it might have been a bit that the blob had touched from the freezer inside.
Because it's like all crystalline. It's like all crystalline, yeah.
Yeah, so our vicar picks up a sample, and that leads to our final... I'll come back. I'm going back and forth. Our final moment of the film, which is a sequel tease, which we never get.
No.
And I'm glad. I'm glad for that.
I think so, because I think it was taking it off in a wild direction that there wasn't really enough setup for.
No, not at all. No. This film encapsulates it perfectly, that it's Blob. It's just, like we said before, we don't know what it wants. It just moves and kills and attacks and grows.
I mean, there's the twist that it's a government experiment.
Yes, yeah,
running amok. But that aside, nobody's controlling it. It is running amok and it is doing its thing. And then the Reverend finds this sample of it, and then the sort of almost, it's not a post-credit scene, but it's almost post-credits right at the very end. Then the epilogue scene is the Reverend, who's looking a bit gnarly because he's partially burned. He gets set on fire, doesn't he, in the final battle. Sort of in a tent in the middle of nowhere, doing very sort of fire and brimstone
very
doomsday.
Cult-like.
Very cult-like preaching, and he holds up his. He's essentially talking about bringing about the apocalypse with his little jar of. So all of a sudden he turns into this like supervillain for plotting the end of the world for no real reason. I don't think it's set. I guess you can maybe infer that he's gone slightly crazy from the trauma of getting burnt and stuff and having this creep, but there's no reason to believe or suggest that he'd want to bring about any sort of doomsday or apocalypse. It just kind of comes out of nowhere as a way to sort of bait a sequel. Yeah,
and we'd also kind of established the Blob isn't controlled.
Mm-hmm.
So is he expecting to control this thing as a weapon?
Yeah, I think it's more he's just
idolize
going
it.
to release it. And,
Yeah,
and let it do its thing. But
it's very thin on the
Yeah.
idea. I mean, we'll never say never. We'll get a sequel. We'll get another remake in the future.
Oh,
And
probably.
it would just be called Blob.
Mm.
It won't be called The Blob. It will be called Blob.
Mm.
And it probably will be bad, but it will happen. It will happen.
Yeah, probably. It's a while since anybody's tapped that vein, I think. So
Yeah. A good way to pretty much go through this film is go death by death, really. Because the Blob, pretty much for the most of the film, moves its way through the town. Even when we get the twist and turns of the government scientists turning up to say, like, we're quarantining this town, we're trying to find it, trying to isolate it in this town, make sure no one knows what's going on here. We even get to the point of the fact that they're kind of evil in a way. The way they treat Meg and Flag, like they lock them down the sewers.
Because the I forget his name, but the doctor character, what was his name? Dr. Meadows. He's quite forthcoming, which I thought was like a little, I guess, kind of suspicious looking back on it. But he's like the sort of friendly face of this government containment team, sort of saying like, "Oh well, and he tells her." He's quite open about telling the kids everything. I can't remember. He starts telling a story about something that killed the dinosaurs, I think, or something, doesn't he? And it's like, oh, okay. They're not being the usual way that like these sort of government teams are portrayed, whereby it's lockdown, shutdown. That at first it is sort of quite friendly, and he's like, oh, we're going to get you all to safety. But then it does change into that. Essentially, they kidnap them and are carting them off out of the way, presumably for re-education because they've seen too much or what have you.
Yeah.
We also find out through Flag eavesdropping, that they're not there to contain a natural or alien invasion or phenomenon, that it is actually the result of government experiments. So yeah, the kids get kidnapped, and they manage, Flag being, criminal bad boy.
He's such a badass.
He's able to easily pick the lock of the van and escape, and they.
But she doesn't want to go with him.
Well, no. I suppose she's kind of trusting of the government. I guess there's the two sides of societies, that them that trust the government and them that don't. So she doesn't want to go with him. She doesn't, does she? I can't remember. I think he.
No, I'm now struggling to remember how he bails, but I'm now struggling to remember how they get back together, because they end up back together on his bike going through.
It's the cinema. She goes.
That's it. She goes looking for her younger brother.
A brother, yeah.
Younger brother and his friend. So, all right, let's talk about the cinema.
So then, I mean, that's the next big set piece. Is we get.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, we get to the cinema, and we get to see. Well, it cuts to footage from, what is it, Garden Implement.
How can you forget Garden Implement?
I mean, because it's your basic slice and dice. I mean,
Garden
Tool Massacre.
Garden Utensil.
Garden Tool Massacre. I mean, if it was a bit more, it was just your basic slice and dice.
It's not even Jason. It's Slim Shady out there with a hedge trimmer.
But yeah, we get that sort of like film within a film. So all of a sudden it cuts to some people making out in the woods at a campsite.
Yeah.
Hang on. Oh, we've already had a death like this. What in the Blob? What's going on? But yeah, it reveals that it's footage from. I forgot what it's called again. Garden Tool Massacre.
How can you forget?
That's going to be the next episode, folks. And yeah, we've got the kids are watching. Although that one kid doesn't take his headphones off. Like,
No,
He's
you're
got
right.
he's sat there with his. I don't mean he's not necessarily playing any music, but he's sat there with his headphones on. Anyway, the kids are watching the movie, and there's somebody being noisy in the theater behind them.
That's great because that's still kind of relevant to this day. You've got a guy just ruining the experience, and the kids are really like, "Can you shut up? Shut up!" But the guy who's ruining it is so defensive and thinking he's in the right. He's in his own rights to be able to do that, and still to this day, people are like that.
Yeah,
but he gets his comeuppance big time.
He does.
Once the Blob has done its justice with the projector, the projectionist. I don't even know if that's a word.
And the cinema manager, I guess.
Yeah.
So he's up in his little room having some trouble with his air conditioning, and we know because this is what's happened to pretty much everybody so far, is that they hear some rumbling in some pipe work. It probably means that the Blob's going to get him. And he calls down to the manager and he's like, "Oh, is the AC on? Because it's not working up here." And that's how they sort of what we see is the manager come in to look for the projectionist, and we don't actually see him got as such, do we?
No, we see a bit of when the projectionist is playing with a yo-yo. It's the little things like that that really make a difference with these sort of films, where he's playing with a yo-yo. It means nothing, but it's an inanimate object that. Why is it there? Granted, he might play with a yo-yo, but it's just there, and the reason it's there is because once he's killed, we don't see he's killed. He's off camera. He's planted on the ceiling. The manager walks in, and we see a yo-yo dropping down.
Yeah,
we're like, hang on, the projectionist is playing with the yo-yo. He's nowhere to be seen. We look up with the manager, and there he is in all his animatronics puppet glory.
Yep.
Mangled and melted, and every gruesome aspect it could possibly be. It's great. Set up and payoff within 3 minutes. Right there. Can I just say as well, we were talking about garden utensil tool killings. You watch Parks and Recreation, right?
Yes.
Do you remember the horror film that Donna is obsessed with, the horror series?
Oh,
it's so stupid. It's as dumb as this. It's really.
I remember she's live tweeting.
Yes,
is it a Halloween episode? Her plan is to live tweet can't remember the name of it though.
I think it's referenced a couple years. Yeah, a couple of years. It's great. Are you looking it up?
I'm looking it up. But
okay, all right.
You can say it.
No, you fine. You look it up. It's fine.
It might take me. It might just be easier to tell me.
Death Canoe.
Death Canoe. Amazing. Although there is a weird subgenre of horror movies involving inanimate objects, like that. There's that one about the tire that kills people.
Rubber's brilliant.
And the one about what's the chair one? The
Killer Sofa.
Killer Sofa.
The thing
and
is,
Carousel.
Carousel and Slacks.
Slacks.
The thing is, between Rubber and all those other ones, Rubber, I actually enjoyed. The other ones come across much more schlocky and right at the end of the list of your Amazon Prime movies that were made. For
I liked Killer
£10.
Sofa though. I did like Killer Sofa. Yeah, Death Canoe.
Death
Canoe 4.
The 4. Yeah. So the Blob moves into the cinema, and this scene alone is I love this scene because obviously it's messed up the projector, and we get that melting film reel on the screen, which always looks great. It always reminds me of what they do in Planet Terror, where they cut the film reel goes and it says missing reel, and then we cut back to just mayhem. I love that, but the lighting is flickering. We get a kind of strobe lighting, but it's flickering. The electrics are going, and we suddenly see the Blob in the ceiling. It makes it so much more ominous and terrifying that it's flickering, it's dark, light here and there, rather than just straight up shot of this pink mass above you. And we got the panic, everyone running around, the panic running out of the cinema, which kind of reminded me as well of the bloodening from The Simpsons.
I think that is a direct reference or to the original, isn't it? I'm pretty
Yes,
sure.
it is. I mean, it's on the poster, I think.
Yeah, and the big sort of run, don't walk from the blob. It's like it's people screaming and running out of cinemas.
Do you remember did you ever hear the song that went towards the original Blob?
Oh,
It had a theme song.
People Eater, Purple People Eater. Is it
I
that
don't know
one?
if it was that called. I think if it was called that, but there wasn't a. It's like a sort of. It's like a jaunty song. Very 50s.
Oh,
very
maybe
very
not.
of the
Well,
time.
I'm thinking of something else possibly, but
I'll edit it in right now so you guys can hear it. In case you haven't heard it, it will just be over our voices, but it's very much of the time and fits a film from 1958, not 1988. So yeah, this is like we said at the beginning. Meg finds the two boys. They end up in the sewers. And as we stated, no one's disposable, not even kids. They kill a kid.
They do.
And it's horrible.
The annoying kid.
Yeah. He gets his face melted clean off.
It does, yeah. Again, not shying away from it. It's not an off-screen death. We see him.
Yeah. But we also learned the blob can also swim. It can move in water.
Mm-hmm.
So it can climb, it can jump, it can swim.
Yeah.
It can do anything.
I mean, there's no reason why it shouldn't be able to, really. But
no.
Yeah, it's they're not safe from it. I mean, this is the thing. I think this, as we said earlier, this is what separates it from the 50s one, is that it feels like more of a threat. It feels like it's more agile and it's more maneuverable, and it's not just the slow moving like I do. Thinking back to the bits of the original, I can remember, like, how did anybody get caught by this?
Yeah.
Whereas this is a lot more, sort of agile and able, appears as more of a threat, definitely.
And this is where Meg and Flag end up together, I believe. Although, what happened? Do you remember what happens to the other kid, her brother? Because all the town are being barricaded into town hall as like a quarantine, which is also where when the blob starts attacking town hall, which is also where deputy guy from RoboCop,
mm-hmm.
he gets split in half through the window of by the blob. He gets some great deaths in
He does
cinema.
get some good deaths in cinema, doesn't he? I'm wondering. Well, the kids, they escape from the sewer. The annoying one dies. I guess I don't think we see him again, but I guess he just is in there with the rest of the townsfolk.
Yeah, if you know what happens to him,
remember.
write it into the Dreadcast podcast at gmail.com.
I may have just missed what happens to that.
I'd say it's okay. It's all right, because we get Meg and Flag being chased by the government, and they make the jump.
Yep.
They make it.
He makes his jump
In Griffith Park in LA with all the spotlights lighting up the forest as per usual in these sort of films. Nice big spotlights. Still not as bad as My Bloody Valentine.
No.
Never as bad, but yeah. Can you remember where we move on to next?
So,
Is it Town Square?
Flag and the government try and seal, even though they're in the sewers, aren't they? And they get to the manhole with Bill Moseley, and there's plenty of time for them to get out, but the bad government are like, no, we need to contain it, seal them in. So they put the manhole over them. Then eventually they get out by other means. So they blow their way out with a convenient rocket launcher, don't they? That's how they get out.
Yeah, they're in the sewers being chased by the government, the scientists, who have automatic machine guns for some reason.
They're not trying to. They're trying to contain it and not harm it in any way, but also are packed armed to the teeth.
But they also we see the blob in the sewers, but we also get, because the sewers are cylindrical, right? It's like a tunnel. We get the really cool biker going up the side of the tunnel around the blob, and then they fall off and try to escape.
Yeah.
Whoa!
He's like an aspiring stunt rider. Like
he is.
He's not quite. He's getting there, but he's. They explode their way out because there's they put the manhole cover and then suddenly there's a truck on top of it as well, just to make an explosion, I guess. They blow their way out.
Bill Mosley's been attacked by the blob.
Mm-hmm.
Always nice to see Bill Mosley.
The blob grabs the doctor and drags him in, and at that point they are when the doctor's gone, because he's in charge, and then everybody else is a soldier, I think.
Yeah.
And it's when the doctor gets grabbed, the soldier basically feels like, right, weapons free,
Fuck him.
and they just unload a load of bullets into the thing, and then drop a bomb in there as well, and delivers the line, "Chew on that, slime ball."
And then it bursts out into the town
Yes.
town square, and that's where the mayhem. Everyone running for their lives. We get a few dodgy opticals here. I say dodgy because of the time, effects wise. We get a few dodgy miniatures, like when the snow machine, Flag goes to get the snow machine. When the blob flips it over, we see Shawnee Smith in the foreground and a miniature optical of the snow machine in the background, and it looks pretty dodgy. It looks like something from Trumpton Town.
Yeah.
Also, when one of the blob's large tentacles flops down, it looks pretty rough. Maybe not so much for the times. It's fun for the time, for the film.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's harmless. But as of now, I think a lot of people would find that quite cheap.
I mean,
bad looking.
it's like I say, it's a product of its time. None of the effects are seamless.
No.
But they are decent. But there are a couple of moments where they're a bit. Yeah, they could have been a bit. Better.
How the blob moves itself, the animatronics of it pulsating and moving on itself, rotating, folding in on itself, is superb.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some dodgy opticals, yeah. But we can let them pass, especially when there's one where the blob is building up big and Flag runs in front of the screen, looks left and right, and then runs off. It couldn't look more like a green screen. Which I think it would look fine if there was more of that on and off, but it's just that one shot.
It's like
and
a big
stands
moment
out.
of it. Yeah.
It really stands out. But yeah, hey ho. She has a silly moment where she trips.
Oh yeah.
She's trying to shoot. I like that she doesn't know how to shoot the gun properly.
Mm.
I like that. She's not like a Ripley or Sarah Connor.
Mm.
Strong character, but why would she know? I mean, American. Why would she know how to use a machine gun instantly? So that's quite nice. Sorry, what you were going to say?
Ripley gets taught.
That's true. Yeah, true. You're right. Yeah.
I was going to say, this moment where we get the priest is ranting about prophecy and how it's the end of days and this was foretold and all of this sort of stuff. A couple of flamethrower dudes arrive, and his nozzle is plugged with a tentacle and it explodes, which I liked. And the priest the reverend gets caught in some in the fallout of that and is burned. Meg then works out that it's cold that does the trick. I think because she has a fire extinguisher to try and put out the burning people. Yeah,
which I would have thought they might have remembered from earlier on, because they did notice that the cold hurt it. They didn't say anything, but you could see in their facial expressions they noticed.
There's a lot going on. I mean,
it's too much to remember. Yeah,
she saw a small child die right in front of her between then and this, and it's this point that they all barricade themselves in the town.
That's it. Yeah.
But meanwhile, Flag is he's getting the snowmaker machine and he's sort of working his way through, quite a widespread carnage, really, because all of this takes place on one street.
Yeah.
But he's weaving around all kinds of debris everywhere else. Which I don't know. I guess you just kind of go within the moment. It's like, all right, yeah, whatever. But thinking about it now, it's like what was the blob that big that there were multiple eruptions in different places, or
has it already committed carnage elsewhere?
Elsewhere, we've just not seen it. I mean, potentially a lot of stuff, as we know, has happened off screen. So maybe
the thing though with the snow machine that does ultimately end the blob, we kind of come back to what we were talking about earlier about fake snow and is it cold? In theory, it must be then, because we know that the cold affects the blob.
Mm-hmm.
So if this is exploding while it's next to the blob and it crystallizes it and kind of kills it, even though maybe it doesn't, it's a bit ambiguous.
It's a bit of a T-1000 moment, isn't it? Really, it's...
Yeah, it is. So the snow machine must be cold, because also I think at the beginning when we see the snow machine, they're using it as like a ice cooler for drinks. There's like an ice cooler in it.
I mean, in the context of the movie, I am 100% willing to accept that this is a cold snow machine. This is what it is. Absolutely. I was just generally asking the question, like, do they actually exist, or is it not just some sort of because that aerosol spray stuff that you get for your Christmas trees and things, that's not.
Yeah, it's crap. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but it's not cold, is it? And I would have thought that sort of fake snow on a large scale would be more just some sort of foam rather than actual some sort of refrigerated thing or whatever. But so I was just curious as to whether that actually exists, or we're just accepting that as being that's what it is in the movie. Because I'm fine with that, but yeah,
we don't. Frankly, we don't know. We don't want to know.
Fair enough.
And we get the nice crystal form mess of it at the end, which as I'm looking back at it now, they look like crystals you would make as like prop crystals, like what you think a crystal looks like. Triangular points.
Yes.
Straight, shiny, no jagged edges. They look like the sort of crystal you might get in a gift shop at a tourist attraction, But that's, again, it's very ambiguous, because that's what we hard cut to what we talked about earlier with the priest and his new cult end of the world sort of scene.
There is a line where just before that cut, there is I don't know just who says it. It might be the owner of the snow machine, but somebody says something like, "Let's get this sucker on ice before it thaws," or "Let's get this mess into the freezer before." So there is. You're right. We don't know what happens to the blob sort of after that, but there is that one little line where they realize that it's safe while it's like this, but we need to keep it frozen. But we never see any evidence of them disposing of it after the fact, or is it just sitting in the cold storage warehouse of that town forevermore?
Not a town you'd really want to visit. Then
we don't know. Do we? Come to whatever it's called. I don't think we get a name for the town, do we?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, we do.
I don't have it at hand. Let me find it. Yes,
whatever it's called. Yeah, come here for our fine diner and wonderful historic cinema house, and the murderous, rampaging, evil blob creature that we have frozen in our local warehouse district.
It is
forevermore.
Arborville.
There you go. Arborville, home of the blob.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, that'd be it. That'd be just in case the skiing wasn't good enough, you could just $2 a gander, come and have a look at the blob.
Come and have a look. Yeah. Bring the kids, bring the family. It's
have your photo taken with the blob. But well, like I say, it'd be easy to miss that because we do just get this hard cut to the Reverend, who's seemingly lost his mind a little bit and baits us with this sequel, as he shows us he's still got his little souvenir piece of the blob is still in its jar doing stuff, and we don't know how long. I mean, we don't know how long after the fact this is. It must be a few months because his hair's considerably longer.
Yeah, he visibly is different. His character is completely different.
It's some considerable time has passed.
Yeah,
the creature is still alive in that jar. Presumably, he's not been feeding it. So,
I wonder if it is the sort of creature where if it was split in half, you then have two, and they join. You could split it, and it's just continuously alive.
So.
Yeah,
I'd guess so. Yeah.
Again,
just
ambiguous. We don't know if it's we know it's not there, but we don't know. What it is we don't know. We really don't know.
No, we don't. I think. I mean, they do. The government people do explain that it's a virus or bacteria that's mutated. I suppose that's kind of how bacteria reproduce, isn't it? They just split, and you've got multiple.
I guess, yeah.
So I suppose it stands to reason that's if you cut a piece off the blob, then that is a separate entity that will grow and do its own thing on its own.
Yeah. And then that's the blob.
And that is the blob.
Cannot recommend it more.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm
really glad.
It was good fun. It was a riot to watch. Kept me guessing. As soon as Paul died, I was like, oh shit, okay. He was definitely set up as a main character, and he's dead. So we'll see what happens. And then, same with the kid, and it was. I enjoyed it. I think it's fair to say I probably enjoyed it more than I was expecting to.
Good. I'm really glad.
Mainly because sci-fi alien stuff isn't really my jam usually.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was definitely a good watch. Difficult to find. I mean,
it's on YouTube, but it's not good quality
with terrible sound. That is where I started watching it, and it was unbearable. I found an alternate source that was much better.
It's not on any of these amazing streaming services. It's not even the horror-specific one.
No, it's not on Prime. It's not available in our country.
It's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
I think the original is, but I couldn't find this. But yeah, definitely. If you
go buy it,
go and get it. Yeah, watch it. Definitely.
£18 DVD, £30 Blu-ray. Go get it. £100 VHS. Yeah.
Action figure, t-shirt.
Do it. Get a little soundtrack. It's worth every penny. So yeah, that is The Blob.
That is The Blob.
One more film for the rest of this year and your tenure. 1978, George A. Romero, absolute classic, Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead.
That's going to be a talker.
That's
going to be a big one. So get ready, folks. I might even milk it and split it into two. Depends how long we go for. But I am looking forward to that one because we both adore that film.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking forward to that. That will come in the near future, but the end of this year, no matter what. It might come out. I might just release it on Christmas Day because that's what a gift for everyone.
Did we say next weekend we're recording this?
I believe we did. Yes, we did.
Yeah.
So we will do it then. Yeah.
Sweet.
Not much else to elaborate on. Find us on TikTok, Instagram. I'm getting really. I opened the Blue Sky, trying to get that going. I am forgetting about the Dreadcast X/Twitter account because Twitter is just not making me want to go on it much these days.
Twitter is really, really awful these days. But I'm having real difficulty getting going on Blue Sky. I don't know what it is.
I think for me, it's finding other people. No one else is on it. It's not even companies or brands that you follow are on it.
I mean, I feel like that might change in the next coming thing. But I've got a Blue Sky and a Threads that I'm sort of. I'm probably not going to keep up with both of them, but they both sort of in their infancy, and it's going to be a case of which one starts to take off first is the one that I'll keep. But yeah, I'm still on Twitter. It's still active. I don't know. I'd probably posting less. I think I probably will just bin it off at some point completely. But for now, it's still there.
I may merge Dreadcast Twitter with my own personal one just for convenience sake. So stay tuned to that. But do check. I mainly post on the TikTok and Instagram at the moment. That's kind of where I think the engagement, if you will, is mostly. So check it out there, _Dreadcast. And obviously this on YouTube, all major streaming services. Just search the Dreadcast, you'll find it there, or just Google the Dreadcast. We've trumped that original Dreadcast podcast, doesn't exist anymore, so we're the first thing that comes up, which is great. Even when you type it in on YouTube, we're the first thing that comes up. So yeah, until next time on episode 100.
Nice.
Bye.
Bye.
Gonna miss that.